You know that already.
Rocker Pat here. All right, guys, it is another hot rocking day in the jungle. When I say hot, I mean hot. All right, guys, let's see what I got going on. It is Wednesday. The last time we talked, I had a Ford pick-em-up truck over here that needed some work on the transmission. Got that done. This was the crazy piece that I had to go inside the... I don't understand this. I mean, literally, the problem with the truck was this sensor was going bad, but you're gonna buy all this. This goes under the valve body. The valve body has to come out of the transmission in order to replace this. They call this a lead frame. Right here is your park neutral switchy kind of thingy going on there. Big bulkhead going on to the connector to make everything run. Let's see. Over there are all the solenoid packs that need to be fired up and make hot and do their thing when they need to do their thing. So, you know, instead of having to replace an external... Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place with that camera. Instead of having to replace a external output shaft sensor, that was $930 parts and labor. Could have been less than $200 had they built it the way they used to build things. But hey, that's a known problem. And yeah, some engineer that needed something to do. All right, Honda's in. We talked about that last week. I think it was weekend. And on this week's chores, the Honda's in. Finally got the parts for the transmission cooler. That's all transmission fluid laying there on the floor. And that is the... Let's go over here. This is what the transmission cooler looks like. Transmission fluid goes in and out of those deals right there. And engine coolant goes through these two hoses. The reason why you see the oil on the ground is because I have both of these hoses disconnected right now, and it is literally leaking out of these rubber hoses onto the ground. This hose right here is the one that split on the car, but it is getting all new hoses, and it will get a transmission flush as well. Chevrolet pick-em-up truck is ready to go home. Worked on it the last couple of days. Let's talk about what I did to it to make it run right. We're gonna come out here and I'm gonna do a key in hand from inside, and if all goes well, why won't it turn? Well, that's odd. Oh, there it goes. Fired right up. Let's talk about all the things I found wrong over here. First thing I found wrong on this one was that the back behind the carburetor there is a manifold vacuum port, and one of the ports was loose. So that was the first problem I found. Second problem I found was internal in the carburetor. Pulled the carburetor off, and I noticed that the floats were definitely not set correctly. So they were way too high. It was just dumping fuel and everything. Neither one of these adjusters could I even get to adjust. I had to screw them all the way in to get it running once I fixed that back vacuum leak. This one was all the way in to begin with, and this one was half out, or I say half out, a couple of turns out. And but it was, the vacuum leak was helping things. So once I fixed the vacuum leak, I had to screw that all the way in. That tells me my system's running way too rich. So pulled the carburetor off, found the floats were just incredibly, it's like somebody rebuilt this carburetor and took floats out of the box and didn't set anything. Probably bought one of those $18.99 carb kits off of eBay. So after I fixed the floats, I still noticed I had issues. And one of the issues that I had was this thing just would not hot start. It hot soak and it would just not restart. So what I ended up finding was On this side of the carburetor, on the primaries, you got your boosters up inside this thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, look up an Edelbrock 1405 carburetor rebuilt and they'll show you what I'm talking about. Long story short, this morning, well, yesterday, I went ahead and pulled all the spark plugs out of them. It does not have the plugs I would recommend in it. It's a 41 something. I don't know what the hell they are. They're AC Delco. I would personally put a R45 TS in this truck. That's just my opinion. I've been putting spark plugs in small block Chevy since I was 17 years old. Mike Hall Chevrolet tune-up and drivability helper. And that's all we ever put in small block Chevys was R45 TS plugs. It's hot enough to keep the things from burning off, you know, getting all fouled. So I cleaned the plugs with my sandblaster and cleaned all that out and put it all back together, and then took it for that little drive. And mailman saying hello. Took it for a little drive and came back and still having the hot soak problem. So this morning, well, yeah, yesterday I saw something going on with the primary booster on the driver's side. And what I saw was that when I gave it gas, it did not dump fuel the way it's supposed to. The one on the passenger side was working properly and gave me my nice cone pattern of fuel spraying down to the throttle plates. But the one on the driver's side was not working properly. So this morning I went ahead and popped the carburetor back off after pulling a spark plug off and finding that it was fouled again. Not super fouled that it's not going to run, but just black, not right. I like a light straw color to my plug when it's running perfectly. So after I checked the plug, I pulled the carburetor off, and I went ahead and pulled that booster off and to see what I could see. Maybe it was clogged or something, because I had to get up into RPM before it started boosting any fuel out of it. What I found was the gasket for the booster was upside down, backwards. It was blocking a passage that it shouldn't have been blocking, and it wasn't giving a seal on a passage that should have been getting a seal. And I checked that by checking the one on the other side and found that, yeah, they're backwards. And so I carefully cut it off with a razor blade and put it all back together. And as soon as I did, I was able to adjust both my mixture screws properly, and we totally got rid of our problem with our hot soaking issue. So I'm happy to say that this one's going home. I will tell you exactly how much I am charging this man. I am charging this man $350. I didn't spend a penny on it, but I'm charging him $350 because I'm a rocking and a rolling and a rolling and a rocking, and now he's gonna be rocking and a rolling and a rolling and a rocking, and you're gonna pay the rock star. All right, guys, y'all keep rocking and a rolling and a rolling and a rocking. I got some more grinding it down to do inside as a Honda, but it's Wednesday and we're halfway through the week, and then we get back to grinding it down over there on the Falcon. All right, y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later.